What's up, Rupert here, the natural capitalist, all about building holistic wealth naturally, in line with natural law and the universal laws of nature. I want to explore in permaculture. Through permaculture, I learn about 8 forms of capital that to help build this idea of holistic wealth. Okay, and in that 8 forms of capital, there's many more 8 forms, but let's talk about cultural capital. And what is cultural capital? Well, cultural capital is like the stories and basically which lead to values and beliefs that we hold to be true in the world, and that's what guides us basically in our decision making. And I want to explore, so stories is a form of cultural capital because they can be used to propel action and build a better world, build a better life, and build natural wealth. So how we tell the story matters. And when I look at history, the past, there is no possible way that there is one singular objective truth to the story. Because, we all know the saying that history is written by the victors, and we know that there's all these other stories. So there's actually like infinite stories. There's actually as many human beings that have ever been alive. That's how many versions of history there are. That's a lot. So basically the history is subjective to a certain extent, and the objective is something in between all of the stories that you have to build or make your own story. Okay, let me give an example of this. And especially with relation to trauma, past trauma, childhood trauma. For example, I like to tell the story of how my dad, I have a story running in my head, my dad taught me to tell the truth no matter what, no matter the consequences. Always tell the truth to yourself and everybody else as best you can, because there is always some subconscious, self-deception there in the ego, which we're all learning through life. But when you get pulled up on that, own it, acknowledge it, grow, be better, be more honest with yourself, be more honest with other people, be more honest with your words and your actions, bringing it all into alignment. My dad taught me that because he was a compulsive liar who lived in a fantasy world. Now, I could tell another story and say, I find it really hard to tell the truth because my dad was a compulsive liar and always lied to me, and I have this real bad ability to tell what's really true. Whatever, something like that. It wouldn't really, that story doesn't help propel me into a better life. I'm not leveraging that as a form of capital. So this story of the patriarchy being evil, women being oppressed, living under systems of oppression, everything is all bad and evil, looking back into the past, that's just one version of the past. And there's actually a million different versions, and the objective truth is somewhere all in between that we need to discern through and feel into for ourselves, but not getting too attached to any particular one, because it's not the whole truth. It's really, really so deep, right? Because this is permaculture. This is stories. Is like the deepest part of culture, the most permanent. It's like the origin, the word. First there was the word, like it ties back into Christianity even. This is where it starts to get, if we're really talking about permaculture, the permanent aspects of culture, the persistent systems that support culture, not just physical systems, there's also invisible systems. This is what it is. So what story are you telling yourself? The other story my dad told me, because I just spent the night out with the family. All the siblings I haven't seen in years, we all haven't been together. And we all got on it, and then there was all the stories coming out. Everyone's stories, right? Different stories of the same lived experiences. We all grew up together. And another story that I run, that my dad taught me, was to always be there for my son no matter what. Always, always, always put the time in, put in the work with my son. That's the most important thing. Because my dad was never there. Completely absent. And I love him for teaching me that way. It sucks. There's definitely some hurt, but the story I tell myself is that's what he's taught me. And it feels good, it feels true, and it's empowering, and life is good. Anyway, that's a little rant.